Kingston. This is where Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is speaking. This is a stop on the campaign trail. Let's listen in.
It's clear that Canadians must stand together. And I'm here to reassure Canadians that united, we will get through this together. We will strengthen our country and stand up for our workers. First and foremost, we must support workers and their families. So to the hardworking Canadians and businesses directly hit by these unjustified tariffs, I say, your concerns are my concern today. We are here for you. A new Conservative government will make it a priority to keep industry moving and workers working. We know that once the link between worker and job is broken, it can take months or years to rebuild it. That's why it is much more economically affordable and much more important from the well-being of a family to keep the job in place. Des millions de Canadiens se sont réveillés ce matin.
Millions of Canadians woke up this morning wondering what are the consequences of Trump's tariffs for them and their family. We must put an end to tariffs, but in the meantime, we need to take care of ourselves. Before anything, we need to support our workers and their families. To all Canadians who work hard in our businesses, who are affected by these tariffs, I want to say we share your concerns today, and we will be there for you. The priority of a Conservative government will be the protection of jobs. We know that once the relationship broken between worker and their employer, it's difficult to reestablish, which is why we need to keep people at work for as long as possible.
Cambridge, Brampton, Windsor, Essex, St. Catharines, Oakville, Alliston, Woodstock, Ingersoll, and elsewhere. That's why I'm announcing today that a new Conservative government will eliminate the federal sales tax on Canadian-made automobiles. Everyone who's looking to buy Canadian, to support Canadian workers, will be able to save money as a result of this announcement. Axing the GST on a $50,000 Canadian-made automobile will save $2,500 to the car buyer. By saving cash-strapped Canadians' families their hard-earned money, we will increase demand for Canadian-made cars and keep more workers on the job. And I'm calling on the premiers to match our policy and remove their portion of provincial sales tax on Canadian-made automobiles. This will have the double effect of supporting workers in the auto sector and also tackling the Liberal inflation crisis that has made everything more expensive. Both federal and provincial sales taxes, were they removed, would save up to $7,000 for the purchase of the average $50,000 car. C'est pourquoi j'annonce aujourd'hui.
That's why I'm announcing today that a new Conservative government will abolish GST on new cars made in Canada as long as Donald Trump's tariffs are in place on our cars. Canadians are solidarity and want to support our workers, which is why we will make our cars more affordable. Abolish GST on new cars of $50,000 will save $2,500. This measure will help Canadian families to support their workers here in Canada, here at home, at the same time as we save money for our families that have already been hurt previously. So this will mean we can maintain demand for cars built in Canada, and workers will be able to continue working, having work to do. I'd invite provincial premiers to adopt their own a proposition to abolish their own provincial tax, which will bring the savings up to $7,000 for a $50,000 car. This is two birds with one stone. We will save money for families that are suffering because of liberal inflation, but it will protect jobs here in Canada and put Canada first.
It'll mean big savings. For example, on a new Chevy Silverado from the factory in Oshawa, a new Honda CR-V from Alliston, a Toyota RAV4 from Woodstock, or a new Chrysler Pacifica from Windsor, and all the other affected industries, we have your back. We will stand with you. We know that some of these plants are temporarily shut down or are closed for retooling, but we will keep them eligible if and when they do reopen, and we will continue to monitor the list of vehicles made in Canada and add and subtract automobiles from eligibility based on the Canadian content that they have. I announced yesterday as well that a conservative government, a new conservative government, will protect workers for a change. We will set up the Keeping Canadians Working Fund. This will be a temporary targeted loan program for businesses directly hit by Trump's tariffs to allow them to keep workers on the job until we get through this tariff madness. We will start with a fund of $3 billion. These will be loans, not expenditures, and we will use the money to lend to companies who are desperate to keep employees on the payroll throughout this period of uncertainty and tariff obstacles, so that those workers can keep working, keep paying taxes, can keep supporting their families. At the same time, I will push hard to end the tariff madness. On my first day on the job as Prime Minister, I will call the President and demand that we rapidly renegotiate the CUSMA agreement on a very tight timeline. That will allow us to find certainty. I will also propose that in the meantime, both sides suspend tariffs. To be clear, no counter tariffs from Canada will be removed unless and until the Americans do the same. But the argument to President Trump will be this: put aside the uncertainty, the job loss, and stock market crashes on both sides of the border. Pause the tariffs until we can hammer out a deal. Now, that deal will have to be in the Canadian interest. First and foremost, we will protect Canadian sovereignty. Certain things will be non-negotiable. We will protect our land, our water, our laws, our government, our culture, our language policies, and our borders will always be exclusively under our control. Second, we will demand an end to all tariffs, free trade, both ways. But third, we believe we can convince the Americans it's in their national and security interest to get a deal, because we will use all the proceeds of that deal, all of the economic benefits that flow into the federal coffers, to massively rebuild our military so that we can carry our weight and keep our continent safe. This will create a powerful incentive for Americans to say yes. But, of course, there's no guarantee with Trump. As we're learning, nobody in Canada can control Donald Trump, contrary to many of the suggestions and the unrealistic expectations that some have been setting. Which is why I have to make clear, and I will be making clear to President Trump, that any commitments we make that America wants to happen on defense, border cooperation, or market access can and will be instantaneously withdrawn if he violates any part of the agreement. We will only uphold our side of the bargain as long as he holds up his side of the bargain. That's how we create the leverage to protect against a president who changes his mind and breaks his word. Still, no one can control President Trump, and no one can predict what he will do. The only thing we can control is what we do here at home. And that's why the best way to stand up to President Trump is to make our economy stronger and more independent from the Americans. The economic plan I've been announcing throughout this election is to unleash our industry, to make it strong, self-reliant, sovereign, so that we can stand on our own 2 feet and stand up to President Trump. My plan will cut income taxes for all Canadians so hard work pays off for a change. We'll eliminate the industrial carbon tax so that we can bring back steel, manufacturing, aluminum, fertilizer, oil and gas, and other heavy industrial products that are the backbone of a modern economy. It will allow Canadians to allow tax-free reinvestment of capital gains, which means that companies can reinvest in beautiful factories that employ Canadian workers like this one. I just spoke to Chandra, who started up this place. All of this stuff, all these machines that these incredible workers operate, that is investment. The more of these machines, the more of these factories we have, the more powerful paychecks we will generate, and the more we will be independent from Trump. A tax-free reinvestment in Canada of capital gains will be like rocket fuel for our economy, allowing us to soar over the American economy. I will axe the sales tax off new homes to get more homes built and create more demand for the Canadian lumber that Donald Trump is attacking. Build Canadian homes with Canadian wood, supporting Canadian loggers and tradesmen. For the last 10 years, the Liberals have had their boot to the neck of our energy sector, but it's not dead yet, and my plan will bring it roaring back to life. I will relaunch our energy sector by repealing Liberal No New Pipelines Law C-69 and lifting the Liberal energy cap to produce more energy. Mark Carney has said he will keep the legal ban on pipelines in the C-69 and that he will keep the energy cap. That is economic suicide. It is another reason why President Trump has supported Mark Carney's re-election in this campaign. Not just more pipelines, but more LNG, large-scale mines, and nuclear projects. It will send hundreds of billions of dollars. If Mr. Carney goes ahead with C-69, he will be blocking pipelines, mines, nuclear plants, and other projects, sending hundreds of billions of dollars fleeing south right into the hands of Donald Trump. And it means that Western Canadians will never be able to sell their oil directly to Eastern Canadians. Instead, we'll have to keep passing our energy south at a discount and even sending energy through the American economy just to send it back to Quebec and Ontario. That is not change. That is more of the lost Liberal decade. And the choice on resources is this. After a lost Liberal decade of driving our jobs south and driving our economy under the American thumb, do the Liberals deserve a fourth term in power, or is it time to unlock our resources, bring home our jobs, and become a strong economy for a change with a new Conservative government? Le plan économique que je présente dans cette campagne électorale.
The economic plan I'll be presenting in this campaign is a plan to liberate our industry for Canada to be a strong and sovereign nation, able to stand up in front of Donald Trump's threat. Will eliminate taxes on income for all Canadians who reinvest in Canada. Will eliminate the carbon tax on industry, and will do it for all forever. This plan will enable people to reinvest capital gains free of tax unless it's invested here in Canada. We will be masters here. It means Canadians will be able to paying to the government when they pay paychecks. We'll also create jobs where growth is given and giving them tools, education, and technology that they need to be competitive. I will abolish the sales tax on new homes to stimulate construction and demand for our lumber. Over the past 10 years, the Liberals have they blocked GNL Quebec, a project that would have helped the steel industry and in Quebec, all the while in helping us go around the U.S. for our resources. We will also eliminate the ceiling on energy that the Liberals have put in place.
We're listening in live in Kingston, where the Conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, making a campaign stop, also announcing if the Conservatives form government, they would eliminate the federal sales tax on Canadian-made automobiles, also encouraging premiers across this country to do the same with the provincial sales tax. So people would be encouraged to buy Canadian and also save some money with that. So we'll continue to follow the latest from the campaign trail. Again, that's live out of Kingston.